Ladies and gentlemen, this is the real Slim Shady. Know me as the man who does not pull a punch. I love boxing, and when I'm watching boxing, I always check in first with Fight Net Radio.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Fight Net Radio. Lee Honish, Andrew Labouche, Miguel Antonio Barragan. Please join us on our social media sites and our website as well. Go to boxingtonight.io. You can follow us on Facebook at Fight Net Radio. You don't need the dots in between the letters anymore. Lee fixed it. We're also on Twitter, multiples on Instagram, and more importantly, check out our YouTube channel. If you listen to the audio, go check out the video. If you watch video pieces, go check out the entire show, which is shot just like this, not cut up. And you can see all the behind the scenes stuff that the audio people get, or audio people, you can watch the video, whatever the case may be. And as always, as Miguel would like me to point out for his BFFs, smash, like, subscribe. With that said, gentlemen, how are you today? Andrew, how are you?
Doing good, Lee.
Outstanding. Miguel, how are you today?
Pretty good. Still, trying to shake off the Thanksgiving tamales hangover, because that's basically the coma. Yes, we have a small family, so we try not to do a turkey and a ham and shit like that. So we just get tamales. The thing is that we get too many of them, so we basically have them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 7 days straight.
Yeah,
That's
I was
awesome.
all set up. I was all set up to do it. I did a turkey and I did all the stuff, and I was expecting Lori and her grandmother and a friend, and then everybody took off in the afternoon. She went to the ex-husband's with her boys, right? So I was sitting here, and I realized at a certain point, oh, nobody's coming back to eat the food I made. I might as well start eating it.
Jeez.
So I did something completely unique this year, and I'm going to say this to all the men out there who think, deep frying the turkeys, manly, or smoking a turkey. That's the other ultimate manly shit to do, like you feel like you're involved in Thanksgiving. Let me give you a heads up. Stick it in a crock pot. It's juicier, it's wetter, and it's way better. Just like a vagina. There, see? I got it in somewhere. It will never be a piece. This will never be a PC show. No. We were, for those of you who don't know, we were talking about it before the show. I was thinking of making the show a little more mainstream now that we have all these different platforms. And in fact, if you go to @FightNetRadio, you can see this. I try to update the stories. We have a lot of activity on there, as well as Instagram. I failed this week because the most interesting thing to me were the weigh-in photos where the chick who lost last night came out with a European bathing suit for her weigh-in, and that's a great ass. I mean, it's a real, shout out to Fino Boxing, because they're one of the only few sources that had all the different angles. Everybody else put the politically correct angles. But man, that is a cakey ass rear end. Am I lying, Miguel?
You are not lying in the slightest. I mean, she definitely made, she wasn't showing, how can I explain it? She made it a point to wear that specific bathing suit for the, she couldn't have just worn some fucking Nike shorts the way the other broad did. No, she was like, let me go ahead and catch people's attention at the weigh-in and wear this gold member type of shiny bathing suit. So our bikini, frankly, because that's pretty much what it was. For bikini, it wasn't even a bathing suit.
Go ahead, Andrew.
I seen it on the internet as she won that fight.
Is she the one who won, or did the girl with the braids win? I don't know which. I mean,
I think she did.
Once they trussed up their hair, who cares? Honest to God, the fight was so damn boring. And listening to Ray Vargas literally splooge on himself talking, fight of the year candidate. The two funniest things he said last night: Fernando Vargas Jr.'s knockout, it was going to be knockout of the year. These girls were fight of the year. Fuck, bro.
I don't want to go to that too early. Even though it's no, shout out to the UFC. I think the UFC is the one who woke up the women's boxers when it comes to how to market yourself. Lee, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, this was not the scene. You did not see as many women fighters out there putting themselves out there and adding a sex symbol, adding themselves sort of like a sex symbol in the sport to it, attached to it.
We had Mia because she was willing to take off her top.
Well, that was because
Okay,
she came
boom.
from a Playboy background to begin with.
And
So it
and
wasn't.
then that's where it stops. And that's where it's at. Now we have what, 4 or 5 of them. There's like, there's top 10.
This
everywhere.
one has an OnlyFans account.
Oh, geez.
And it's great. It's not a bad
I'm
thing.
becoming
Shout
obsessed.
out to
Miguel.
you.
You can clearly tell.
Mm.
And she can crack. And she's from LA. And she likes Bud Light, Andrew. She's the girl you want to go out with.
And honestly, it helps all the way around. I even think it helps attract younger girls to the sport that see themselves. Those are beautiful women. They're keeping their body in shape. That attracts those girls. It's like it helps all the way around. Fathers want to see their daughter, probably perform like that more than, some of the other, it helps all the way around. I'm not going to get too far into that, but.
Yes. You don't want a phone call to occur on Monday when all this goes out to make, wow, I can't even imagine how the game of telephone applies in your life, where somebody listens to the show and then it's like secondhand explaining it back to your wife that gets you ultimately in trouble. And I used to try so hard for that every week. It used to make me so happy knowing that somehow that worked. But man, it's a great butt. I mean, I'm not going to lie. That is a great butt. And I think Sinisa is great. I think Sinisa rocks it out. Not only that, she seems normal. She seems normal.
Nothing wrong with confidence.
Well,
nothing wrong with confidence.
I suspect she's also a psycho. Look, if you can crack like that, you're also a psycho. And she's from my hood. So I like that. I like it. It's what I grew up with. So if you want to go check that out, go over to Facebook. Just type in Fight Net Radio. 3 words, Fight Net and Radio. Yes, for you old timers, there used to be a little bar underneath. That was the way old digital used to look. Yes, Andrew.
Are you even going to confirm if this young lady won the fight or not? Or are we just going to?
We can't.
She won.
She won.
I just
The one
right
with the
now.
cakey butt one, right?
The
she
one,
was the upset, right?
The chick,
blue top.
the Latina with not the Argentine chick. Actually, they're both Latina chick. So
Yeah.
not the tall braided, super like pale chick. Not her. The chick with the hot ass.
The one with the butt. Yeah.
Yes.
And by the way, once they were braided and trussed up, neither of them looked this good. Neither of them.
Well, I mean, they cleaned up good. Obviously, when we're talking about a fight here, they're not going to look as good because they're getting punched in the face with Vaseline rubbed all over their face. So obviously, they're going to look different.
I was going to put a joke in there. See, that's growth, Andrew. That's growth on my part. You felt the Vaseline joke coming. You felt it. So go check out all our social media. For all of you audio people, enjoy listening to sort of the behind the scenes. I'm recording lots of pieces of content. If you want to watch the video of any of this, by all means, I'm hoping by the beginning of next year, I will have laptops and computers in places so that everybody's on camera for you instead of you guys staring at me with a picture of those 2 guys next to me on the video. Now, with all that said, let's talk about last night's fighting. Let us start off with Dillian White. Dillian White took on Jermaine Franklin, where Jermaine Franklin, let me give you the backstory to everything. Jermaine Franklin feels robbed. Some of the reporters felt he was robbed, but ultimately Jermaine Taylor got a majority decision. And if you were wondering, was the scoring interesting? Why, indeed, Miguel. The scoring was rather interesting. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it was close enough. It was a shitty fight. It was a shit fight.
It was a shit fight. It wasn't like the best, the most entertaining. We were like, we've seen better performances out of Dillian White before, and we were hoping that would be the case here. Franklin, although with a decent record, I think it was 20 or 21 or something, and prior coming into this, was pretty much unheralded. So it wasn't like he was fighting against decent dudes towards like the latter part of those 20s, but Yeah, I mean, it was close enough. I think this is the first fight Franklin had outside of the U.S., so he's never actually traveled outside of the U.S. for a fight. And going to the home country of your opponent, I mean, really, you think you're really going to get a decision? The chances are, they're going to give him a home cooked decision. So you had to go in there and really win every. If you can't knock the dude out, which White is very knockoutable. He's been knocked out before, so it's not like it's not possible. But if he couldn't do that, then Franklin at least had to win the fights like this size or each round. I mean, decisively, and he couldn't. He wasn't exact. It didn't look like he was in the best shape anyway. I've seen pictures of him before where he looked a little bit better. He at least a little bit better, I should say. The dude had like man boobs and whatnot. So, I mean, what can we do? He went in there and really it wasn't that bad of a decision. Yeah, it was a majority decision, right? So of course he has a little bit of I guess what's the word? A bit of an argument to go that he has he can say that, hey, the fight was close. I should have won. It could have gone either way, and really it could have had he put a little bit more gas, more, I guess, pedal to the metal, and he couldn't. So he got himself, I don't know what's going to be, what he can make out of this fight. His claim to fame so far is that he got a majority decision, loss against White. This doesn't look good for White, really, because up until this point, Franklin isn't that known, and the fact that White couldn't get a more decisive win, or a knockout even against something like this doesn't look very good. Chances are he's basically just biding his time until he can get himself another major big fight with maybe like Anthony Joshua down the line or something like that, right? Another one, I should say. So it doesn't look good for him, but hey, if he can cash out one more time, he was able to avoid disaster against Franklin. A majority decision. I'm not too I'm not too upset about that decision.
Andrew, what did you think of what is it about the mohawk that makes him look fatter? I don't.
You can see more of his head.
I don't know why that mohawk bugs me so much. Andrew, what did you think of the fight? Did Dillian White impress you?
No, he did not impress me. I'm going to give him, the benefit of the doubt that he didn't wake up for this guy, right? This was an Eddie Hearn matchup. I mean, a guy that's never gotten it right. Eddie Hearn's the one who got Garcia defeat, got AJ defeat, and Dillian White, he was very close to getting him upsetted there in his little big moment. The matchmaking skills of Eddie Hearn are just, it's what's hurting the zone right now, and it almost got them. Look, it was a great fight. I liked it. For two big men, they're overweight, they're heavyweights, but they were throwing bombs. Every punch was there to hurt. And I was going for the American. The underdog was in every round. He was throwing combos. He was outworking Dillian White. Dillian White had the crowd, and he had a big right hand. And that's how he kept getting those rounds back into his favor. He would get everyone out of their seats with the big bombs. But overall, Franklin was outworking him, and the combos were pretty. Because Dillian White was being lazy, no defense, there's no upper body movement. He walks through everything. You throw a combo and you're landing 3 out of 4, 2 out of 4. You're looking pretty good. What hurt him, like Miguel said, agreed with everything Miguel said, is damn weight. Come on, man. You had this fight. He had it, and when he had to dig deep in those he had never been 12 fucking rounds. Why are you coming in so overweight? He had him. I thought he was going to beat him. You guys, I thought he was going to beat him. It was a great fight for him as a coming out. But look, there's decisions Franklin needs to make now. Does he really want this? Because if he does, he has the chin. Boy, did he take some hits, especially on the ropes. He had nowhere to go. He was taking uppercuts, right hands, walked through everything. Got hurt, but walked through it, was able to stay up. He has to make a decision on his career. To me, I would get in shape and I'd make another run at this. I think he does have the skills and the chin to bang with the big boys. He proved that on Saturday. Good performance skill-wise. Got an F for coming in physically to that fight. So Dillian White, agree with Miguel. I don't know. Hey, look, Miguel, you see him try to walk out of that ring? Did you catch that?
No, I didn't. I switched it once the fight was over. No.
Soon as they announced him the winner, but the scorecards were close, Dillian White tried to leave, and they had to stop him. Eddie Hearn was like, "Get over here." He's all trying to laugh it off, like, "Come on, what are you talking about? You won." But that dude was embarrassed. He was embarrassed because those scorecards were so close. One of them had it a draw. So I think Dillian White is probably more in line to be the stepping stone, because look, they can do a pay-per-view. They could do a pay-per-view out there in the UK with him and the Frank Warren's young kid. What's Frank Warren's
he's getting Joshua next. Joshua's going to take him and knock him out.
But wait a minute. What's that? Shit, I just lost his name. Damn it. I'll remember it. It's the young kid that's beating everyone and he's actually not young. He's in his 30s, but he's from the Olympics. He's beating everyone over there in the UK. Him and Dillian White would be an awesome fight for the UK. I mean, come on. Dillian White's lost twice to Tyson Fury. He's lost to Anthony Joshua. And we're done with him and the big boys out there. I think if Frank Warren can get him, they did a good crowd. It's embarrassing. And the kid went to Joyce, right? Joyce. Thank you, bro. Joyce. Yes. Yeah, I was going to say, the kid went to Sac State, and I already forgot his damn name. Joe Joyce, man. They get him to fight Dillian White. I think that's an excellent fight for Joe Joyce right now, stepping up. I mean, he beats Dillian White in a big showdown over there. I think he's ready for any of the top 3 heavyweights.
Yeah, and I saw. Do you see what's his name? AJ and the sitting next to Hearn outside, ringside. That's what I was thinking they're gonna go with next, right? And I think I read reports that that's what they're trying to go with as far as Dillian White goes. And even AJ looked a little concerned. He's like, "Fuck, if this dude loses, what the hell?" But he came out with the victory. But yeah, he had a little bit of a concerned look on his face during most of that fight.
Yeah, especially because this kid throws combos, something that Andy Ruiz was able to do to Anthony Joshua. Joshua didn't like those punches and bunches. The speed got to him, but also his defense wasn't able to block everything. That fight with Joshua, that's a UK showdown. I don't know what the fan base out there, if they're really wanting that fight. Tyson Fury sold tickets fighting them, so maybe they do go that way. If I'm Frank Warren, I'm trying to get Joe Joyce, though, because that's really what Joyce needs right now to get him into the real conversation with Anthony and Tyson Fury and Usyk.
There you go. Moving forward. Last night on Fight TV. Let me say this again. Last night on Fight TV for $60 whole was the Rougarou Regis Prograis versus one of the Zepeda fighters. Obviously not the good Zepeda. Are the Zepedas related, Miguel?
I don't believe so. I mean, this is the Zepeda that I'm most familiar with. Yeah, there is another Zepeda.
Yeah.
Chances are they're not related.
All right, just wondering. The cast. I'm guessing Zepeda's contract with Top Rank is over. I'm guessing. I was actually looking at their records last night, pretending that I actually cared about boxing because I had been watching it all day. I watched the entire DAZN card earlier, and I watched from about 6 o'clock on. I got to watch Blowjob, who, after 12 fights, according to Ray Flores and one of his monstrous gems, he's ready. He's ready for a championship. Fuck me. There's so much to be said about that announcing team last night. By the way, as a note, please go back and watch the Blowjob match. His name was Jabalov. Jav Olavolov. But listening to Ray Mancini attempting to pronounce it might have been my favorite thing in the entire evening. Jabalov.
I think all Mancini knows is he's got to throw his game plan out the window and just go for it. I swear to God, I think if you watch every fight he's ever covered, that's his game plan, and it's like round 3.
Well, and was Marquez on? That was Raul Marquez, correct? Last night.
Yes. Diamante.
Was he on cocaine? Yeah. Was he on coke? Dude, shut up. Dude, shut up.
One of the luckiest men.
Dude, shut up.
One of the luckiest men ever. Roommate to Oscar De La Hoya. was his rise to fame right there. Roommate.
This is my first time doing it. Wait, there are highlights from Marquez by himself. This is my first time doing it, and I love it. My response is, dude, cocaine? Like, really? Is it your first time doing cocaine and covering a fight? You don't need to follow in the Krieger footsteps all that much. I'm just putting it out there. Just putting it. So they were very weird. Okay, this is the first time where they actually analyzed two fighters and seemed to pull for both fighters, which I kind of appreciated. But, and I said this before we began, there was a point during this fight where there was a series of words that came out of the mouth of Ray Mancini that I literally stared at my speaker. I used my external speakers instead of my headphones like I normally do when I'm in the office. I don't know what he said. I had to rewind because there was so much. And what I noticed is there's a lot of head trauma there, Andrew. A lot of head trauma with Ray Mancini. And again, I loved he did have one take that I thought was hilarious, which is the way no fighter fights. They should fight every round like it's their last round.
Yeah, no, and I think Mancini's best days are, yeah, he's taking a lot of punches, and he's also, just at the age where,
has he always had a lisp? There's a little bit of a lisp. Clearly, and here's the reason why I don't smoke pot. I would obsess about Mancini. Like, I would go back, like the Zapruder film on that bad boy, and go back and watch it again and again just to dissect it. But I did. There was,
and not only that, but Lee,
can I give you my favorite thing of the entire night? Was them in the female fight that we just covered. And if you're watching the video, go to boxingtonight.io. Watch, get the whole video and audio. But Ray Flores said, I have to look it up because I wrote it down when he said it, and Miguel and I at the early part were like writing down Ray Flores isms. This is exactly what he said. This is referring to the girls in the championship. Quality fighting from two fighters. I was so shocked that he clearly, because he stumbled on it. He was like, it's quality fighting from two fighters. That's how he said it. And I went, did that just happen? And Miguel's favorite quote of the day, Miguel had a favorite quote. He's hurt. He's on Wobble Wobble Street.
Yes, that was. I believe that was from Ray Flores. I believe so. I'm gonna have that. I'm gonna have that on my wall. I'm gonna have that like drawn on my wall, painted on my wall, and then have like Ray Flores as like the quote Ray Flores.
Ooh, they finally got the video. Can you believe that they took this video down right in the middle of this whole thing? That is hilarious.
Attempt at somehow include Thanksgiving into his commentary.
Yeah, no, look, Ray Mancini, if all you have to offer is he's got to throw the game plan out, he shouldn't be there. None of those guys ever took control of the fight. There was no calling of the fight, right hand, left hook, he's doing this, doing that. Ray Mancini has no insight as a boxer, and neither does Marquez. But Marquez really only shot to fame, the roommate to Oscar De La Hoya in the Olympics. If you guys actually watched when he won his IBF title, it's on a headbutt. He doesn't beat the champ. He headbutts the guy, and that's what knocks him out. Then he loses the title, I think, to Yori Boy Compas not too long later, and that's it. He's done. He does nothing again. He's the roommate to Oscar De La Hoya in the Olympics. So I expect no insight from him. Ray Mancini met the president. I believe it was Ronald Reagan, which means it was decades ago, but he was that good at one time. He got to eat at the White House. He has no insight. There is no Emmanuel Stewart coming out of him. There's no George Foreman. There's no Ray Leonard. His game plan is throw out the game plan and just go for it. You got to just go for it. Like,
yeah, he doesn't seem to understand why people don't let their hands go. Why don't they let their hands go? Why aren't they throwing punches?
He clearly didn't know who Jose Cepeda is. Jose Cepeda is not a go for it type of fighter. He's not. I thought he was not doing fine, but he was doing exactly what I've always seen him do. So it's either that
Take a
was going to
beating.
win it
He
or it's
did
not. He
exactly what
doesn't
Bob
go.
hired him to do. He's a guy who takes a beating. He makes fighters look good,
It was a
and
better
he will
fight
occasionally
now.
get wins.
In my opinion, it was a better fight than what they gave. Those guys were very they just weren't really into it. I don't know. It was a pro gray driven
They were really biased.
telecast. They were. They really were. It was a better fight than what they were telling the fans. You know what sucks is when I turned it on mute, which I did because they were so fucking annoying. Then it got boring. The fight got boring. I had to pray. I just hate watching something in silence. I had to turn it back on. I put
on YouTube. I put on a comedy YouTube. So I'm lucky in the office. I can have the fight here, and then I can put up YouTube videos over here and kind of watch it out of the corner of my eye. Am I the only one who thought that there was like a frame of video missing in the telecast watching Prograis move like a robot? Like, it's like literally like he's doing the atomic robot when he boxes. The movements he makes are so weird. And it's even more pronounced than it was in the past. I'm not going to take away what Prograis has done, and truthfully, he's only lost to Josh Taylor. He deserves more respect. He just makes incredibly bad boxing decisions business-wise because he believes way too much in himself. But watching his style a little obsessively last night, am I wrong, Miguel? What is that herky-jerky? I like the constant head movement, but the putting your foot up on the ball and then bringing it down and then doing like a pirouette when you back up and then, popping and locking a little bit. And was it ever this pronounced, or am I just now noticing how irritating his style is?
I don't remember it being this obvious. Like it
was
like
really
this
pronounced last night, right?
It was, and at least I don't remember it being as much because he's done it before. It's just nowhere near as much as he did last night. I mean, that's just his flavor to it. They teach you the basics and then you add your own flavor to it, right? So that's just the way he does it. But I didn't like there were a couple of times where he just looked stiff, especially at the very beginning. Like he looked tense, like there was a little bit of nervous energy in there. And I think that kind of like played a little bit of a role later on in the fight because he did kind of slow down a little bit. It seemed like he was kind of taking a round or two to kind of catch his breath. But keeping your hands low, obviously you're going to get hit, especially in the very beginning. It looked like Cepeda was beating him to the punch as far as the jabs go. But yeah, he did look like, I mean, he was trying to throw in his little, like his version of fucking, was the Roy Jones, right? He does the little hit thing, and he did a little bit of a step a couple of times. So that's just basically his flavor, right? But it was a bit much. Like clearly he was confident as all hell because you would think this is like, he's on a pay-per-view. It's kind of a big deal, the WBC, super lightweight title on the line. So it's like you take it a little bit more seriously. But clearly he came in here super confident enough to be doing those kind of things in the fucking ring, and not necessarily hot dogging, but that's just the way he would kind of spread his hands a little bit and then kind of like back up his hands down. It's like, bro, don't be doing that.
Make the quarter turn, show his back, walk away, turn around, pirouette. I really kept thinking, oh, there must be like a second of video being cut out of this since we all illegally streamed it. I'm saying it right here, right now on Fight Net Radio. All three of us did not pay the $60. Sorry to Legends Boxing. I always worry about a boxing organization that doesn't even have a website. This is almost a one and done.
How about Marv Nation? Does Marv Nation have a website?
Marv Nation and Legend. I didn't look up Marv Nation because I was afraid I'd see Rush, like Marv Albert.
I'll see that again.
Rush. Best impression I do. It's better than Top Rank Bob. Fuck. I kept wanting to turn the fight off. I shouldn't have that reaction. And if you listen to Ray Flores, this is fight of the year. Miguel, fight of the year.
It pissed me off that they were so like on Prograis' like jock. Like he was saying these. I mean, he says dumb shit in general, but he was saying these dumb things like, "Oh, your Prograis lighting Cepeda up," and it was like we're talking about the fourth round. It's like, no, he's not, dude. he's like not. Yes, he is landing. I get it, right? But and then he was talking about how he's like busting Cepeda's face. Progray's face looked worse. Like what the fuck is he watching? Is he not seeing the shots come back? Like they were very. It was very Progray. It was a very Progray, broadcast. So I mean, he did what he needed to do, right? Progray ultimately won, which was basically what he was like he was the favorite, right? He was the odds-on favorite, so he came and he did what he needed to do against a tough, very durable opponent, and he finished him, which is a big deal. Yes, he's not. Cepeda's been through some wars, so he's not the Cepeda of old, but nonetheless, he still had plenty in the gas to put on quite a performance, and we saw it. What's his name? Progray's face was getting reddened up, and then he was like his nose was bleeding and whatnot. And
I think he broke his nose in the second round. I was watching Progray pretty obsessively, and he was sniffing really hard from the second or third round on, and there was a little blood at one point. I'm pretty confident he broke his nose early in that fight on a crack.
It could be, and shout out to Cepeda's cornerman, I believe it was Stitch, because he got there was a headbutt earlier in the fight, and that cut Cepeda, I think, over his right eyebrow, and they did an excellent job because that blood was not a factor, the cut itself was not a factor. So obviously Stitch is a pro, he knows what he's doing. So they did, and that when they headbutted, and I thought, oh man, this is it, this is going to be his downfall. Like Cepeda's got scar tissue, he gets cut, he gets hit, he gets swollen. I thought, man, this is going to be it, this is going to taint the fight. But they did an excellent job of keeping the cut out of the fight, period. And really, other than that, his face wasn't that marked up. Like, yeah, he did get hit, of course, and it was reddened, but really Cepeda's face came out pretty clean. Especially considering how many punches he did take. So great. I don't know where Cepeda goes from here. This was a pretty bad. And I wouldn't have minded if the referee counted Cepeda, instead of just like waving it off immediately. Yes, he was hurt. Yes, once he waved it off, I was like, he looked like he could probably continue. Like, couldn't you at least like given him the count? But called it off. There was no complaints from Cepeda's corner that I saw, at least, so it didn't look like he was protesting it too much. So I'm sure he was okay with it. But great fight from Progray, put himself right back in the mix. He was kind of like you mentioned earlier, Lee. His business decisions outside of the ring, as far as like boxing goes.
You think the legend / Triller / Marv Nation negotiate again? I'm going to say it. He's almost ready for the Otto Wallen speech, which is, bro, you don't have a choice. There are 3 organizations. Pick one. Just pick one.
I mean, he has a little bit more bargaining leverage now with the belt, right? He had it before, but when he lost it to Josh, he pretty much lost all bargaining power. But he has something now, right? And I did like what he said at the end when they were interviewing him in the ring, talking about calling, and Raul Marquez tried to basically get that out of him, like, hey, dude, can you want to call somebody out? This is your chance. This is your time. And he was like, no, I got a belt now. They're going to call me out now. I was like, oh, okay, I kind of dig that attitude. I'm not sure if anybody is going to call him out because he does have the belt, and the rest, as far as I know, the rest are with Taylor. I don't think he's relinquished any of the other ones. So I wouldn't mind seeing like a rematch with him and Taylor if Taylor decides to stay at 140, or if tries anybody else. Because we got plenty of names like Ryan Garcia, like Teofimo Lopez at 140. So it would be pretty dope if he can stick around at 140 for like a hot minute with that belt. He's going to have a lot of bargaining power with anybody else entering that weight class. So hey, he put himself in a great spot. We can say all we want to say about Regis's business decisions and his fighting on Triller and now fighting on this fight pay-per-view. But hey, he put himself back on top again.
Don't put down legends. They have a LinkedIn page.
Yeah, don't sleep on Marv Nation.
Don't sleep on Marv Nation. Andrew, final thoughts on Rougarou.
I was not impressed with his overall fighting style, but I think you have to be impressed with his knockout punch. Out of the last 10 opponents, he's knocked out 9 of them. Some of those names include Joel Diaz Jr., who was undefeated and once a prospect for Top Rank. Juan Jose Velasco, who was undefeated and once a Top Rank prospect for Top Rank. Terry Flanagan, the next champ, was 33-1 when Progray knocked him out. And then you have Jose Cepeda. Cepeda has been in the ring with the sniper, the Puerto Rican kid.
Pedraza.
Pedraza, yes.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in the ring with him, and he's been in the ring with the young man from Fresno, Ramirez. Jose Ramirez. Went the distance with both of those guys. Yeah, last night could not go the distance with this little knockout puncher we got here at 140. He has 24 knockouts and 28 victories. I think that needs to start. He needs to get some respect for that. Maybe it's time for Josh Taylor to come see him again. Look, Josh Taylor won a majority decision in his backyard, I believe it was. And one of the cards was 114-114. One of them was 113-115. It's a very close fight from Prograis being undefeated and undisputed. So I think they need to start looking at that fight again. If I'm him, I'm not leaving the 140 division. Look, his hands down. Yeah, it's not the long-term deal you're looking for, game plan you're looking for in boxing, but maybe that's how he gets his opponents to give in so his power can rip them. As of right now, he looks to be the hardest puncher in the 140 division, though. So I'm interested in seeing where he goes. I will agree. I don't think anyone watched the fight last night.
Oh, no, this thing lost money. If Legends and Marv Nation didn't lose money, then there's no sanctity. PBC.
I didn't see one thing on it, Lee. I didn't see one thing on it on the chat rooms. I didn't see a highlight. Was only posted by him, ESPN. 5,000 likes, I think, is the highest I've seen one of them get to. There was just not a lot. And after that fight, when they asked him, when they gave him the platform and said, hey, who do you want to fight next, man? Here's your chance. Oh, I don't want to call out no names. You know what I mean? Everyone's going to be talking about me. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about me. No, we're not. No one's seen the fight. Come on, bro. This is your time to be like, hey, Ryan Garcia, you're a bitch. Guess what? That's going to go viral in the boxing world. And then your highlight of knocking this dude out is going to go viral. Telefimo Lopez, you're a bitch. Josh Taylor, fuck you. You got to give us something. You got to give us something. Nobody watched the fight. So that sucks for him. It was a bad business decision on him to play the whole I'm the guy. You've never been the guy. No, you're actually been let go of every fucking company you've ever been a part of. So no, it's time for you to speak up. It's time for you to call out somebody. So I thought he missed that. He got a big F on that part.
There you go. And please let me say this again. If you get a chance, I wouldn't pay $60 for it. Go get yourself a hot copy on the web, which, by the way, is a trending search. The announcing is so bad, it made me rethink all the insanity that I did back in 2007. Like, I could have easily have been normal and been a decent announcer probably somewhere along the way without being an asshole. And watching Ray Flores literally made me rethink my life decisions in regards to Fight Net Radio. It was so epically bad. I would have, I have to say it, if I was in Ray Flores' seat, I would have asked Marquez if he was on coke. I honestly, and I would have looked at Ray Mancini a couple of times and literally have said, what are the words that came out of your face? I just, wow. You
know, I was expecting a better job out of Marquez because Marquez has plenty of experience being on Showbox and whatnot, and Showtime Championship Boxing. So I would have expected a little bit better from him. I mean, as far as like Mancini goes, I mean, what the hell can you expect? It's not something that he does that frequently. Every so often they'll have him on there, but I mean, it really when it comes to him, like sometimes they'll have him not ringside doing the commentating, but like up in that fucking other area, right? That the zone does that sometimes, where they have him sitting elsewhere, where they just have him chime in every so often. They don't have him like 100% on the color commentary the way he was last night. Clearly not his forte. So you know, maybe if we're gonna invite him back, maybe have him chime in every so often. You know, maybe be like an unofficial official or some shit like that, a Harold Letterman type of thing. But don't have him like on the mic the whole fucking fight.
Obviously,
they're commentating. Commentating can ruin a fight. Seriously.
Yeah.
The wrong guys can bring down, if they don't know when to get excited, they don't know when to call the punches, how to call the punches. This all plays into effect. You're supposed to be entertained. You're supposed to get an experience. They're giving one-liners, things you can read off of the internet. You know, there's no insight. They're not adding anything, and nobody knows how to call a fight. Nobody ever took the lead and was like, all right, I'm going to call the next 30 seconds. No one say shit. Let's
No,
just
there
see
were
the
weird
action.
ponderous caps and all kinds of weird shit. There
Yeah,
were a couple of times in the night where it was no audio.
Gap fillers, and there, I said my piece. You go ahead and talk. Yeah, I totally agree with you. You know what everything you just said, I agree with, and he needs to do better. I just wouldn't fight at all. You know, I would just go for it. I mean, that's 10, 15 seconds. The fight has been going on. All you guys are saying is hot air. You haven't given us anything. They did it constantly. You see that a lot.
It's a bad night when Prograis gets a knockout, and the thing we're talking about the most is the epically bad commentating. Epic. Oh my God, it was spectacularly bad. So please go check that out.
It looks low budget, Lee. I'm sorry. When you have 3 guys on there that can't call a fight, barely know them. You know, there's a lot of kids that don't know who the fuck Ray Mancini is. I'm sorry, Mr. Boom Boom. It's just that.
There's a reason he doesn't work for PBC anymore.
There's a reason why Leonard and Foreman aren't doing this anymore. You're a part of that fucking era.
Yep.
You have to move on. Roy Jones, they need to start putting more money in, get someone like Roy Jones Jr. back out, get him back in the seat. You know, if you have to pay Andre Ward extra, I don't know what his contract, if he's only tied down to ESPN, but he's another one that will give you great insight on a fight, tell you something that you'll see 3 rounds down and be like, yeah, that was right. He's seen it. Those are the things that used to make, they would educate us while the fight was going. Manuel Stewart was a teacher while that fight was going on. We do not have that anymore with the zone. What the zone? Sergio fucking Mora is supposed to be our teacher.
Yeah. No, sorry, what that teaches us is great boxing slams. When an ex-wrestling announcer makes fun of you for an entire fight, how does he not hit anybody, man? Mora has no pride whatsoever. Fucking former middleweight champion of the world with no pride. But whatever. What an interesting day of boxing.
Joe Guzan is better than that. They should put Joe Guzan more. I don't know if he's more into training right now. I know he's
think with things like the Manning cast out there that people would get a hint that people want technical expertise interesting people talking about the fight. Look, I don't need somebody telling me left hand, right hand. Oh, he's going to work. Look at him go. Prograis is all over Zapata. Yeah, those days are over. You know what I want? I want 3 guys talking tech. And because those are the boxing fans for this kind of fight. This is not a casual fight. Nobody was paying $60.
But Lee, when the action calls for it, that's a great call. When the action is going back and forth and you're not being biased, like Miguel was saying, but when you're calling both shots, no, that's a great call. That's still a great fight. You're getting to hear. I thought HBO wasn't that long ago. Let's not act like we're talking about black.
The days of Lampley doing it correctly. Look, Lampley is a god. Like I model, even in my day life when I'm doing my work or I'm recording content with others, even when I record with you guys, and Ray needs to listen to this. I hope you're watching, Ray. You've got to learn when to shut your mouth and let the other people talk, but set them up correctly. Instead, he's just like, "What do you think, Ray?" Oh no, don't put him on don't put him on like that. Don't do that. Because Ray could be eating popcorn. Like you don't know what Mancini's doing. Like he could be looking at a girl in the second row. You don't if you watch Lampley, he sets up Foreman. George, here's what I'm seeing. What do you think? Okay, now you're putting him in a direction. There's something to be said about I say this to Mr. Flores. Listen to Fight Net Radio. When I want the direction of the conversation, my guys are going to have their opinions. But I want to cover the point that I find interesting and float it to them so that they take the ball and then run in that direction. And then they can veer off all they want. I don't begrudge anybody. And then shut your pie hole. and not. And then there's that whole weird thing about the silence and God, it was low budget. It was just awful. I mean, the whole blowjob fight of, after 12 fights and only fighting for a year and 18 months, the former gold medalist is ready for the big time. What are you talking about, Ray? Clearly, you have nobody in your earphone. Take it out. Take that earphone out. Nobody's telling you anything good. Dumbass. Let's talk about a little bit of news. Gilberto Ramirez is assessing his life after watching the fight last. No. Gilberto Ramirez loss to Bivol has been difficult to accept. I'll come back stronger. I'm going to tell you why I picked this story. It's the first time he talked and he had actual comments. It just wasn't my night. Congratulations to the champ. The results has been difficult to accept, but I promise to come back stronger and better from the bottom of my heart. I sincerely appreciate all the love and support throughout this journey. Okay, cool. Nice little statement. How has he not left Oscar after this fight? Like, Oscar served this dude up in the hopes that he would beat Bivol so that he could get a Canelo. And anybody who thinks differently is smoking crack. Okay? He literally served up his biggest prospect into a buzzsaw with Bivol. You guys were Andrew, you were behind the fight. We all thought it would be. He's not at this level. And I would hope that Oscar and his team, come on. I mean, he is not at this level, Andrew. He's not the champion. Yeah.
Well, he's not. And so you would think Oscar would drop him. Look, Oscar didn't do anything wrong in the Bivol matchup. He gave his fighter the biggest platform the division had to offer. All he had to do was go out there and win. That's it. You got the fight. Your promoter sets you up. You're in the biggest moment of your life. Go perform. He didn't perform. He doesn't throw enough punches. He didn't go for it at the end. Like, there was a lot that Ramirez left in that ring that night. So, I mean, if I'm Oscar, I think I'm looking at what I'm paying him to see if he's ever going to be able to beat Bivol. I didn't see it that night. The fact that we waited so long for him to actually get this shot, as a fan, I don't know if I'm going to wait again. I mean, they better get him in the ring really fast with another top 10 guy. Send him to the PBC. I mean, if you really want him to leave Oscar, he's already left Top Rank. He only has DAZN and he's fighting for DAZN right now. I mean, he can go to Eddie Hearn and fight for this exact same company he's doing for right now, or he goes over to the PBC, which to me is pointless. Those guys don't even fight each other. So, no, I mean, I don't think Oscar did anything wrong. It was Ramirez who blew that night. He's the one that needs to look at where he's at in his career. Now, De La Hoya got him to fight.
Would you agree with me that he is not elite?
Yes, that night he did not look elite. Like I said, but it was a real, maybe it's just Bivol. Maybe Bivol's that good, but Ramirez did not look like the Ramirez of old. I mean, I used to call this guy like the Antonio Margarito of the super middleweight division. He threw 1,000 punches. He came forward. He had a lot of weapons, and he just didn't show it that night. Now, he might have been nervous to let go of his hands because of what was coming back at him from Bivol. That's something only he knows, but he did not show up. And as of right now, the two top light heavyweights in the world, Beterbiev and Bivol, it's hard seeing him get a victory to any of those guys.
Miguel.
The fact that we were basically like riding his, the hype train so much because of what he's shown previously, granted against different opponents, not against somebody like Bivol, but when you see how bad of a performance that was against Bivol, it makes you question, it makes things a little suspect. He had several occasions where he was so close to Bivol and he looked so gun shy. I'm thinking, what the fuck? Let go of your hands. Bivol was doing a very excellent job of keeping him at bay, landing whatever combinations he needed to land, and then not stay in the pocket long enough for Ramirez to counter and throw back. So all credit to Bivol, but it looked a little suspect. It legitimately did. I was like, man, what the fuck? Because I mean, we were so high on Ramirez, and he just didn't show up. Was it the occasion? Was it legit? Was it not legit? It made me question that shit. I was like, wait a second. And then you have to take a look at the sport. I don't think any De La Hoya. I mean, really, De La Hoya did this motherfucker a humongous favor. He did help him out, and he got his record to whatever the fuck it was. Because I think I don't know how many fights he had under the De La Hoya banner, but point is, he got a few more fights into him, got him on DAZN, and then got him on. This fight with Bivol, which had he won, had something happened, we could have had a crazy Mexican showdown at 175 if Canelo moves back up, right? But now what we're gonna do, we're gonna have most likely a rematch between Bivol and Canelo down the line, so that stays intact. But it makes you question it, because we were higher on this dude. Like, I mean, for fuck's sake, Andrew's
You
calling
two
him the
were high
Margarito.
on this dude.
Well, yeah, I was. But again, we're calling him the Margarito of light heavyweights. You know what I'm saying? It's like the dude takes punches, he keeps on coming, he adds pressure, puts a lot of pressure, and he looks the complete opposite in this fight. It's like, what the fuck? What happened? Like this, he didn't show up. Something seems a little sus. But nonetheless, I mean, even this, the fact that he's now like saying this, he's like, oh, it was difficult to accept. Like, dude. It seems a little suspect, is what I'm trying to say, and he's not even a little bit.
Like he wants
pissed.
to go back to the like he wants to go back to the amateurs or something. Give him some of those B-rated guys again.
Yeah, and I was just like there's no anger, there's no like, God, sometimes if you go into a performance and you don't perform to the level that you can, you're kind of upset with yourself, right? You're a little pissed off. You're like, God damn it, I should have done this, should have done that. There's no anger out of him. There's none of that. It's like he just seems so docile and tranquil, and it's like, okay, yeah, oh, he beat me, okay, I'm totally, I'm okay with that. Hey, my pockets were lined up. So it's just like, it irks me to when I hear this kind of stuff. Like, he's not upset at the fight. It's like, or upset at himself for not putting on a better performance. None of that. He just seems okay with it. It's like, all right, well, life goes on. Not time to fight some other B-level guys. It's like, okay, it seems a little sus. But nonetheless, he didn't show up. Bivol did. It ain't Bivol's fault. This motherfucker came to do his thing, and he puts himself in line to potentially rematch Canelo down the line, and unify the division with better BF if he gets past Yard or Yardy. Well, I should say when he does. But anyway, this pissed me off. This was like it was twisting the knife watching this motherfucker in that ring with Bivol.
Moving forward, Shakur Stevens eyes WBC title eliminator with William Zepeda. It has been announced.
There's another.
There it is.
See, there's more than one Zepeda. It's almost like I do prep for this show.
Yeah, it almost is. Hey, Lee, I was gonna say it.
Almost like I prepped for this
He's
show.
probably pitching. Hey, Miguel, I was like, he's probably throwing a softball there. We're just totally missing it.
Yeah,
Well,
we're swinging it.
here's the absolute hilarious part of this whole thing. In
Ray
the old
Flores,
days, I used
you
to
see
get
how that-
interviews. The old days, I used to get interviews, and people would interview me about boxing and stuff in the early days of podcasting, and I'm like, oh, I'm not the guy to interview. Like, I am so not the guy. I'm not going to pull shit out of my hat. Yeah, this one, I kind of knew where I was going with it. Shakur Stevens is ready to call William Zepeda's bluff, and it will be a WBC title eliminator. Let's call it as it is, and I turn to you, Miguel. Let's start with the scrapometer, and is it the move?
Yes, precisely. And this is exactly. I mean, he needs to get his hands on a belt quick. You know what I'm saying? And there's only one dude that's got them all. So as quickly as he possibly can, let's get him in the ring with what's his name? Jesus Christ, I'm blanking on his name now. Haney. Yeah. So it's just like, yeah, he's got to go through this, title eliminator, right? Obviously, but get him in the ring as much as he possibly, as quickly as we can against Haney. Two dudes still in their prime, undefeated. Fuck yeah, let's just fucking do it. And it's coming back to me now. Zepeda, recently beating Jojo Diaz, that Zepeda. So yes, and that was a very, very fun fight. That fight with Jojo and Zepeda. So having Zepeda come forward, he's not going to be difficult to find. Shakur basically has to pretty much have the same game plan that he had against Valdez. Really, Gallo comes forward and he's not hard. You don't have to go looking for him to basically pick him apart coming in. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I hope that they can get this fight done so you can go ahead and be the mandatory. And mind you, being the mandatory doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the belt, title shot anyway. But we are talking about Shakur here, so chances are they will absolutely give it to him as soon as he beats Cepeda. So yes, let's hurry up and just get this over with, and we can get him in the ring against fucking Haney, and that would be a badass scrap. So yes, this fight though, it'll measure on the Chubb meter because there will be some bombs being thrown.
Are we off the scrap meter and onto the Chubb meter? You're now on the second week of the Chubb meter.
Oh, am I?
So is this just a little blood in the system?
It is.
You're just a little fluffed. You're a little fluffed.
It's a little pump. It's a minor pump, yes.
Andrew, it's very rare when I actually laugh during the show. Andrew, do you like Cepeda Stevenson?
Yeah, I mean, if it leads to the winner facing Devin Haney, yes, of course I do. So this is the last hurdle we have to get to before a huge showdown at the lightweight division. Let's go through it. I don't see anything on his record. I mean, he has the win over Joseph Diaz, and it kind of stops there. So he is tall. He comes in around what does it say here? 5'9". So he's almost 6 foot, and that's pretty tall lightweight there. I don't know how that's going to play out to Stevenson. Does anyone know the height of Stevenson? And the 5'9" seems pretty tall.
Not off the bat. Not right off the bat.
5'6". I'm going to go with average height. He's a little guy. He's a little guy.
And he has a 70-inch reach. So, hopefully that makes for an interesting fight. Americans, Mexican fighters usually bring an exciting fight anyways. So, yeah, I'll look forward to seeing this one.
So it rates on your Chubb meter. You will actually. Then again, you turned the fight on last night, so I'm starting to question your Chubb meter altogether. I would expect you. I really thought you were ignoring. I really thought you were ignoring it last night. How bad was the movie you were watching with your wife that you had boxing going in the background?
No, well, but I was just waiting for the main event, so I had it open. We were watching. What is it called? The Big Short. I think we were watching.
You were watching The Big Short.
Yes. Yes.
About the 2007 crash with wait, you're in my day job now? Holy crap.
Yeah.
By the way, do you see all the similarities to everything that's happening right now, Andrew?
Yes. Yes.
All
so that's what we were checking out. And
I'm very impressed with that movie selection, by the way.
I knew you were going to say that.
No, I'm going to tell you why. I just recommended that to everybody from my day job to watch over the weekend.
I told Christina, this is like the movie for all the kids in college that are in the going into the stock market. I go, freaking, we were watching the poker one, fucking dummies. When we're younger,
Big Short in my universe, Andrew, is porn.
I know. No, I know it is, Lee. Nah, you've seen all the actors they had in that thing. You know what they were attracting there.
Do you realize watching that movie that I suspect one day they'll do a movie about?
What's the poker movie? What's the poker movie with Matt?
Yeah. With I know the one you're talking about with Malkovich and why can't I think of their names? But yes, I know the poker movie.
That's what we were trying to we were trying to break the code on poker. Damn it! Wish I was watching the other one.
There's no code on poker. There's no code on poker.
You know what? You remember? Yeah, hon. You remember?
You remember?
Talking about the
remember
at the end of the movie, he finally breaks that dude, that Russian mob guy. He sees when he bets. You dork. That's how he broke him. You gotta see the tail, right?
You went first.
Come on,
you went full George Lopez on me there. You remember? I miss being at home, Miguel.
Rounders?
You remember? It's Rounders. It is Rounders with.
Bam, baby.
Yeah, you got it.
That was my movie. Then I'd go to Vegas and try to be that guy.
Why don't you watch the Blackjack movie and try to figure out how the guys from MIT do their thing? And I've actually watched videos on that, and I still have no clue how they do it. Moving. Joe Joyce impressed by Francis Ngannou's power. The reason I brought this up, and he would love to fight him, the reason I brought up this story is I am mentally keeping an adjective chart for what fighters say when they don't have a fight and they want to sound respectful. So we've had I be thinking about a fight. That's a good one. I like that one. You be thinking about the fight. So let me change the name. Lee Honish impressed with Francis Ngannou's power. I'd love to fight him. Anyone can say. Everybody sticks in these adjectives, Miguel. Like, you don't have the fight, son. Nobody. Trust me when I say this. Ngannou is not looking for a Joe Joyce fight at Wembley. He's not. He's not. Eddie Hearn's not making that fight. Eddie Hearn doesn't dip his toe into that water, even though DAZN is starting to literally stick their penis into the prostitution that is whatever this YouTube thing and mixed fighting. Like, it's everywhere. It's infectious at this point. It is literally a rash that won't go away. This fight will never happen, but I like the word impressed, Miguel. I do. It's my new. I thought thinking was my favorite. I'm thinking about fighting.
No, that's
Mike
specifically
Tyson.
for PBC guys. That's for PBC guys. I think we'll leave that for them. I guess the Warren guys are impressed. That's what that's their word.
They're impressed. So each organization should have their own adjective for talking about fights that they want, that they think will get them paid. Andrew, are you impressed by Francis Ngannou's power, and would you love to fight him? I bet you would. If I put $5 million on the table,
I would
do it.
Yes, I need that payday right now in my life. I would take the payday. Yes, sir.
You have
I have debt. I have kids.
you got college, and they're smart.
Yeah.
They're going to college. They're going to real schools.
So hey, only one so far. I told everyone she sets the bar, man. She really does. This doesn't pan out. I ain't doing this shit again. You guys better be swinging that bat good. Better jump high. Shit.
Oh, that's funny. Better marry good. You better marry good. So great. Moving forward, David Benavidez, the guy that everybody's quote unquote ducking. This fight is 100% personal with Plant, and I'm going to put a beating on him worse than Canelo. All right, you got my attention. Let's see your quotes. This fight, for me, is 100% personal with Caleb Plant. Well, we read that in the title. Right. I'm really looking to go in there and beat the shit out of him. I like that. It's direct. No mincing words. That's all you got out of him. Oh, wait. My plan is to go out there and do what I know I can do to Caleb Plant. And that's going to be put a beating on him worse than Canelo. Well, okay. Where do we begin with this, Andrew? Does Benavidez deserve to be in the topic? I already know he's going to put a beating on Plant because, well, we've been saying it forever. Plant is a PBC manufactured product. He's not a real champion, and he doesn't accept it. He thinks he actually deserves to be here. If you deserve to be here, son, go beat Benavidez and show up to the dance. But so far, he's never beat a real contender in his weight class. What about Benavidez? When we talk about these light heavyweights,
there's a disgusting stat on Plant, Benavidez, and Charlo, Jermall. The
A Charlo.
Not Jermall,
just say
Jermall.
A Charlo. It's much easier that way. Yeah. All right.
They had been champions, I want to say, for like 2 or 3 years, yet had never faced each other or faced another champion. So you can really say all of them are unproven. All 3 of those guys that have been, saying Canelo's ducking them, which Plant got the fight, then got knocked out. They've all are unproven. They're all manufactured champions. When you went years without trying to become unified or face an ex-champ, that's pathetic. It really is. The PBC, what they did to the super middleweight division, it's just sad. And even the junior middleweight division, the only thing that saves them is that at least their stable had all the belts and they were able to bring that together. The guys finally fought each other, but how they blocked out, like say a Munguia or blocked out a Crawford from trying to be undisputed is just sad. And they did it at an epic level with the Benavidez, Plant, and Charlo up here. So no, I don't really think any of them deserve it. I know they're gonna get it. I know Mike Tyson said Benavidez's name, so now everyone fucking knows Benavidez like he's someone. I get how how they manipulate with the media, how they can get fighters in a position. I'm dead serious. Spence never deserved the ranking that he got, but with the media and these casual ass PBC fans, they're able to turn nobodies into somebodies without a fight ever being made. It's kind of one of his gems that he's been able to create with PBC. Now, it hasn't made them Floyd Mayweather money, but it's kept them all with their diamonds and their horses and their Lamborghinis, so they're all happy.
I thought you were going to say whore. I really thought you were going to say whores, not horses. I, as the words came out of your mouth, the smile that was rolling across my face. By the way, audio people, that's the chance for you to go watch the video. You could see the smile happen on my face, and he said, horses. Oh, yeah, horses. Horses. Yeah, those two. Whores is much funnier comedically. Miguel Benavidez versus Plant. We all know the outcome of this fight because well, Plant's not he's not an elite level fighter. He just can't accept it. And somehow whatever's going on in his brain. I guess you have to believe the hype that you want to be at that level. First of all, Benavidez, is he a player? Second of all, will he beat the shit? And does it even rate on your Chubb meter?
Well, here's the thing. Of the two, between Benavidez and Plant, Benavidez is the more legit guy, in my opinion. So yes, I do anticipate him whooping the living shit out of fucking Plant. But if this is what I've noticed when the fights become quote unquote personal, either the guys go in there and just go, fucking toe to toe to try to whoop the other guy's ass because it's so quote unquote personal, or they go in there with this attitude of like, God, I would hate it if I lose to this guy, and put on one of the fucking boring, like no risk taking performances ever, and we get ourselves a major stink fest. So chances are that's not going to happen. And I like Benavidez. I'm a fan of Benavidez. To point out what Andrew was saying earlier about these PBC dudes basically winning belts and not fighting any other champions and whatnot, Benavidez basically did this twice. He wins the WBC belt, loses it on the scale, or loses it because he tested positive for some substance, and then wins it again against somebody else. This motherfucker did it twice. And it sucks for me to say because I'm a fucking fan of Benavidez, but I think he's the real deal. He just hasn't been put up against guys that he can prove it up against yet. And it's, of course, by design. It's not by accident. Heyman knows what the fuck he's doing. So once we see him fight somebody like Plant, granted, Plant isn't up there necessarily, but technically he's a former champion, only has one loss on his record, and he's somewhat of a name. He's recognizable because that's pretty much what our culture is, right? We make somebody's out of nobodies, right? That's just how it is with social media and shit like that. And PBC is doing that to the max with their fighters. That's just how it fucking is. So Plant does have some name recognition, and if Benavidez is going here and win spectacularly, then we're going to be talking about him a lot more. So I think he's the more legit of the two. I do think he's going to come in here and put an ass whooping, and let's hope that it measures on Chubb meter, because knowing how Plant fights, how he avoids a lot of exchanges, and how he backpedals quite a bit. Yes, he does a pretty good job of like circling and jabbing the shit out of you from the outside, which he has done, but I don't think he's going to be able to do that against Benavidez, at least not in the second half of the fight. So I'm looking forward to this fight. I do want to see it. I'm hoping Benavidez comes out with the victory and he can fight other top dudes at some fucking point, like literally immediately after that. Whether or not it's going to happen, of course, we are talking about BBC here, so I'm not going to hold my breath. But nonetheless, yes, of the two, Benavidez is more legit, and I'm anticipating he's going to go in there and smoke Plant. Oh, that was that. I didn't even mean to say that, and I said it. He's going to smoke Plant. Wow. All right.
There you go. Moving forward, Eddie Hearn on Joshua, who was ringside last night for the incredible Dillian White thing, where they were standing and laughing and joking with each other after the fight, which I watched like they were long lost buddies. Joshua's plans for next year, according to Eddie Hearn, are to fight Dillian White, Tyson Fury, and Deontay Wilder. The exact quotes are as followed. He wants to fight Dillian White. No shit. Who doesn't? He's takeable. I told Jermaine Franklin, if you win this fight, you will fight AJ, basically. So there's all the motivation you need. At the same time, Joshua, has a new training team. Do they want another fight before he fights Dillian White in the summer? To get two of Dillian White, to get two of Dillian White, Tyson Fury, and Deontay. What? To get TOGETTWO. What the fuck? To get two of Dillian White, comma. What came out of your pie hole, bro? I'm going to read it as it's written. Maybe it'll make more sense later on. To get two of Dillian White, Tyson Fury, and Deontay Wilder. No, okay, I see the problem. The TWO was the mistake. Who wrote this? Sam Nam.
I think it was
Sean Nam. Sean Nam
I think
wrote
it was
this.
Ray Boom Boom who wrote this, I think.
To get two. So it would be TOGETTO would be correct. This is a typo. All right. And by the way, I know that the people from Boxing Scene listen to the show, so this should be corrected by the time you actually go see this article. To get to Dillian White, Tyson Fury, and Deontay Wilder. Okay, I see what you do. You got to fix this section here. I'm going to do the typos for you guys. Apparently, nobody reads anyway. So to get to Dillian White, Tyson Fury, and Deontay Wilder in 2023, see, it flows, would be great. To get to get two of the fighters. Holy shit.
Maybe Al Heyman Boxing Scene is like ran by a company in India, and they're writing broken English.
No, this is almost
articles.
like AI. This is almost like bad AI. Sean Nam
They're
maybe
like
AI.
outsourcing. They're outsourcing their fucking articles now. So like,
Well, it's missing a whole
sometimes-
section for the quote they're making. To get two of the fighters like Dillian White, Tyson Fury, and Deontay Wilder in 2023 would be great. By the way, that's not what's written. To get all three of them would be fantastic. But we won't get carried away just yet. Sounds like you are. He wants the big fights. He also knows that when we talk about Dillian White's last phase, AJ's coming up to that phase as well. He's got to get it right. You mean make you money? That's my joke. I inserted my joke there. So I start with you, Andrew. Does he have to get it right? That's a big bucket list.
Well, yes. I mean, as a promoter, yeah, he's got to get it right. He's always got to get it right. Problem is, he rarely does. So I'm nervous on anything that Eddie Hearn puts his name on. If I'm in fighting out of his stable, like I said, he almost got Dillian White crushed last night with some nobody, no one even knew. Like, you can blame Dillian White, but because we've seen it happen to Garcia and happen to Joshua, it's just it's a bad look for Eddie Hearn. So yeah, I'm not real confident in Eddie Hearn's decision making anymore, Lee.
Are we letting
to
the
be
fact that
honest with you,
and he's changing
to be
trainers
honest-
again, Andrew?
To be honest with you, I think he's been a little bit too much of a yes man for even Golovkin and Canelo. Golovkin got way overpaid. He should never have made that type of money that they signed him to. And I know it's not, I know it's not right to say that about, but I mean, say that about another man's wages. But when you're looking at, I'm just talking about, the business side of boxing and what Golovkin was bringing back on marketing to what they were paying him. It's stupid. He paid him that money because he thought the third fight with Canelo was going to be this big Super Bowl, and it never happened. And when it finally did, nobody cared. So Canelo has even been affected by Eddie Hearn's decisions. I don't think he ever should have went to 175. A good promoter would have been able to talk his fighter out of making stupid ass decisions like that. And now he's going to do it again. Canelo goes back to 175 and loses to Bivol again. He's done. They're pay-per-view, 30 million, 20 million. You're crazy. This guy's going to drop all the way down to maybe single digits. I'm dead serious. Like, there will be no market for Canelo if he goes up to 175 and loses again next May. He's over.
Miguel.
I'm gonna have to echo what Andrew was saying. Tommy Hearn has basically become a yes man. Like, he really has. There's a reason why De La Hoya waited a little bit with the Canelo and Triple G. He wanted to wait. He wanted to make sure he was ready, et cetera, et cetera. He didn't just say, "Yeah, man, go right ahead," because fighters want to fight, right? And if they want to test themselves, they're going to want to test themselves at whatever weight class they want to test themselves at, or whichever one they are against whatever opponent they want. And Canelo's the kind of guy, we've seen this before, that he's going to just want to fight the dudes who are the best that he can get. And if like he came, like I can almost imagine how this conversation went down. Like, what's his name? And mind you, Canelo's pretty much by himself, right? He's not in this quote unquote associated with any particular one organization. But if he is, to some degree, he's more towards Hearn and DAZN. So if he came to Hearn with that, saying, hey, I want to fight, fucking Bivol, a guy in your stable, and he's like, sure, why not? Fuck it, let's just do it, And it's the same thing with fucking what's his name, with AJ. I thought AJ was probably gonna drop the WBO strap just to avoid fighting Usyk, and then having a potential big money fight with Fury down the line. And for all we know, maybe what's his name, AJ was like, yeah, I want to defend my belt against something. Like, all right, great, let's do it, fuck it. And then there goes that, right? And fucking Mikey Garcia, yeah, I want to fight Spence, so fuck it, let's do it, or whatever, or not Spence, who the fuck it was, Vargas, I think it was. But anyway, my point is, like, he seems to, like, I'm not sure if like he has no authority, or he doesn't put his foot down, or what the hell the issue is, but he seems to just be like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea, let's just fucking do it, and essentially letting the inmates run the fucking prison. He's letting the guys make the decisions for themselves, and there's a reason why they need managers and promoters and what stuff like that. It's like these guys sometimes are their own worst enemy. So if there's no filter there to stop them from doing that shit, because clearly Hearn isn't that, we get stuff like potentially Canelo having two back-to-back, or not back-to-back because he's gonna fight somebody else in the meantime, but two losses at a light heavyweight or something like that if he ends up losing to Bivol the second time around. If it turns out that he beats Bivol, well, shit, well, that's a major risk, but he's gonna reap the rewards of the risk, but it's at the expense of fucking Canelo, because Hearn is just basically saying, yeah, man, he's like the third base coach. It's just like, go, you can make it to home base, go. It's just like everybody's saying yes to. He needs to be very careful in 2023. Hearn, I'm talking about.
Last story of the day. Bob Arum buying a piece of Top Rank is very, very expensive. No incentive to sell. There were a lot of revelations in this article that we've talked about previously, and we will end on the Bob Arum story today. So, yeah.
Can I just say that means Top Rank's up for sale? Go ahead. Continue.
It's not. This came out today. He said it was. I don't know how somebody got this out of Bob, and it's basically because of his birthday. Bob Arum, this article, there's a lot of insight in this one article that I was kind of stunned with. And so let's just jump into his comments. Joining us on the show to read his part, Top Rank Bob. How are you today, Top Rank Bob? What is Bob? Listen, I'm coming up on a birthday. I'm about to be 191 years old. I can be carbon dated at this point. And based on our math, Bob, you're actually a little bit older than that. But even at 91, which is the real Bob Arum's age, coming up in December, that's freaking old. Old. It's old. All right. Here's what he had to say. Please, Top Rank Bob. Well, we couldn't get multiples. That's what we wanted to sell a piece of Top Rank. And thank God we're doing so well now, thanks to Todd. You want to comment here, don't you? Todd's still there. Attention. Fight Net Radio was wrong. I didn't think Mr. DeBuff was still there. I have not seen him at a fight. That was an interesting revelation right there with this particular interview, Andrew and Miguel. I was kind of stunned by that. Moving forward, the young staff, the people who put us on ESPN, because I don't know what the fuck ESPN is. We've never been as profitable as we are right now. So to buy a piece of Top Rank right now is very, very expensive now. And there's no real incentive for any of us to sell any part of it because we are going to do with what we are going to do with the money. I think this is really interesting. They asked him if he's going to retire. Yeah.
Lee, I got to say, you're still not off on the Todd DeBuff being put on the shelf. Listen, that guy what we're always talking about is
he was at all the fights. He was everywhere.
He's not only everywhere, but why isn't he the face? If he's the one calling the shots and he's the one driving this company right now, then why hasn't Bob allowed him to go up into the ring after the fights and talk for the fighters? You know, give him the keys. You're in this article. He's basically saying he's giving up the keys. What does he think it's him at 91 years old? That's what's driving these ticket sales? It's not. It's the matchmaking and it's what platform they're on. So if that's been all Todd DeBuff that's been doing that, Todd DeBuff is not Mark Davis. He's not an ugly man. Put him up there, put his face up there, and call him the new shot caller of Top Rank. That's always been my argument, is why haven't they allowed this 90-year-old man to retire?
Oh, listen, technically, I am. I don't deal with the minutia of the business day to day. I've really got great people now. We've got a bigger staff than we've ever had before. Thank God we can afford it because we're doing so well. I don't really deal in minutia. Let me say minutia a few more times, or the fact that I can process that word. For those of you who don't know what minutia means, good for you. They wheel me out, and I love that. They wheel me out when they want me to do an interview or so forth. It's true.
Hey,
it's true. They walk him out to a chair. They put a big bodyguard behind him who's a lovely man, and they just let him interview. It's hilarious. This is exactly what they do. They consult me about certain fights. Is it hard work? No. I still get to fuck hookers. That's when people say to me, why don't you retire? I say, retire from what? I'm really not working. He doesn't even show up to half the crap. Miguel and I watch it during fight week. He will show up a day. He will do a little press with some of the bigger organizations.
He's 90. He's 90. He
He's
shouldn't
sharp
be
as
showing
attack.
up to anything.
Sharp as attack.
He
Sharp
shouldn't
as
be showing
attack.
up to anything. He shouldn't be showing up. If Todd DeBuff is the man, let him be the man then. It's weird that he doesn't show up to anything yet. Todd DeBuff isn't in one interview on any of the major platforms like ESPN calling the shots for Top Rank. I don't believe it. He should step aside. It's time, right? Bob Arum's so old. God forbid the day he doesn't wake up, they're just going to stamp it natural causes. We're not even doing an autopsy. That's how old he is. I'm dead serious. No, don't laugh. That's serious.
I was just wondering
He's
what to
90 years
entitle
old.
this
No one gives a
particular
fuck how he
video.
died. He's almost 100.
Hey, who's older, him or Don King? Who do you think is older?
Ooh,
I
that's a
think
good
Don.
contest. Don,
Yeah,
I think it's
Don.
92 or 3.
Yeah, I believe so. I think we did this.
Oh, did we?
91. You got him
Oh,
by
Woo!
months.
Damn.
1931. Jesus. Is that
Hell
when they
yeah.
invented electricity?
Those are rebels, man.
They really did fight the redcoats.
Pioneers.
Jesus. I guess the bigger question here is, without Bob, does Top Rank keep going, Andrew?
Well, and from what that interview is telling us, Top Rank's been going without Bob, which is fine. If that article is true, that's fine. Then Bob needs to it's time to step down. So he doesn't bring anything to Top Rank that to me.
I get mad at reporters. I get
yeah,
mad at
90
reporters
years old.
really well. I'm really good at getting mad at reporters. Really good.
Yeah, and that's another thing that's been a drop off though, is he kind of hurts his company every time, he calls a woman a bitch or tells someone to shut the fuck up or whatever he was telling the one guy, Michael Coppinger, one time on TV. But yeah, no, that all hurts your image of your business too.
Actually, I think he's a trendsetter on the Coppinger thing, okay? Somebody should have told Mike Coppinger a long time ago to shut the hell up and stop tweeting.
Yeah, funny. I actually think to some degree it almost helps. Maybe not necessarily because realistically, when we see him at these, well, mind you, he doesn't go to the weigh-ins. He basically goes to the press conferences, right? Because that's what it's for, press, pretty much. So there are people interviewing him there, and whenever he drops these gems, people like the other media outlet, they love these little gems that he drops, right? Especially if it's like fucking vulgar sometimes. So granted, it may not look good for Top Rank overall,
not
but
calling email.
No, I know, I get that, but when people like these things that go viral, like they help other media outlets because they're the ones, the first ones to post it or something, right? That's so their video blows up, and I mean, obviously it makes him look bad, it makes Top Rank look bad, but that doesn't keep people from tuning in, and it doesn't keep people from still wanting to get, showing up for these press conferences and trying to get more gems out of him. So I mean, yeah, granted, you probably shouldn't do that, and it might even suck like once he's gone, and like we're not gonna get these gems of a fucking quotes anymore, and I'm talking about like for other media outlets, because the media outlets guys love what comes out of this motherfucker's mouth, right? And I think they're the ones that benefit the most out of these outbursts that he has, but. I'm not sure if it hurts Top Rank so much, but I think everybody fucking loves it. Everybody loves the fact that he's giving them this material for them to go viral, to these videos to go fucking viral. And I mean, I think to some degree Bob understands this. When he's gone, I don't think we're going to have that anymore. I mean, I don't think Todd is going to come out here and talk shit to the media the way this dude does.
There you go. That's Fight Net Radio for this week, kids. Go to our website, boxingtonight.io. Let me tease some of the content. We're going to do some watch-alongs this week, Miguel and I, and hopefully Andrew, if he has time. I can't stress how wonderful this Teofimo Lopez thing is as a teaser. This is just, they paid for it. Nobody's watching it. He has nobody on his own channel. It's been out now for 10 days and it's only got 93,000 views, which if you're thinking that's a lot in YouTube land for somebody who's as media, it's fantastic. As a preview, Miguel and I will watch it and go through it, but it actually makes me hate Teofimo more than I actually thought I hated him before this. And it makes me rather happy, to be perfectly honest. We will also, during the holiday, don't forget, we're going to do our final pound for pound list that we all create, not going off their list. Number 2, pound for pound in the female division. Yes, once again this year, it will be based on their looks. I don't watch, I can't pay attention to them boxing. It's like watching the WNBA most of the time. And Miguel and I throughout the holiday we're going to do Fight Net Radio reaction videos to fights and stuff, and I'll get some stuff for the guys. So you'll be entertained during the holiday. All you have to do is go to boxingtonight.io, click on any of these buttons, follow us on any form of social media, and we will see you guys all next week. Miguel, are you going there live? Is that official? Did you get confirmation?
I have not gotten confirmation, and I'm most likely not going to go, unfortunately. But yeah, that's but that doesn't mean the fight isn't going to happen. The fight's still going on, by the way, in case we haven't, let's not forget we got Tyson Fury back in the ring this coming weekend against Chisora, and then we got Estrada and Gonzalez Chocolatito 3. So we got quite a weekend packed full of fights. But yes, unfortunately, I'm not going to go. Stuff came up, but unfortunately, no. I was planning to take a road trip to Arizona for Estrada and fucking Chocolatito, but that fell through. But anyway, yeah. Still got some
I don't
coming
think
up
we
next
need
weekend.
to cover Fury versus Chisora. I know how that's going to go. We all know how that's going to go, but we might as well do this. Andrew, your feelings on Estrada Chocolatito?
Oh, I just want to end to that. I'm hoping Estrada wins.
You want it to come to an end so we can move on it. So you could just move on, bro. Just move on.
Yeah, Estrada has way bigger fish to fry. I know I just want Estrada to move on. I'm just done with him and all these rematches and all these makeup fights and everything else. So, yeah, I'm looking for that to come to a conclusion, especially because they wrote off Chocolatito like before he got to the zone, and then the zone brought him back to life somehow. It was just a weird – Chocolato's had a weird kind of career with me. So, and then the Chisora Fury fight, look, I mean, to keep everything in order – you just want Fury to come out and win that fight, move on with life. That's sometimes boxing doesn't work that way. And Chisora, he goes bombs away. He's going to be throwing haymakers. And I know these two have already faced each other twice, and one they were very early in their careers. So Tyson should know what's coming. But Chisora's gotten a little bit more confidence in his game plan, his offense since their last meeting. So we'll see if he brings anything different. I'm trying to land one of those huge haymakers and take Tyson out.
All right, Miguel, give me the Chubb rating for next Saturday. We've got fighting once again all day thanks to the London card. So at about 11 o'clock, we will all be forced to dial ourselves in. Let's start with Tyson Fury Chisora. Does it rate a single pump?
It does not. I will be watching because we are talking.
You will
about
be
the number
completely
one.
flaccid for this one.
I will, yes, completely as flaccid as loose and flabby as Tyson Fury's belly, pretty much. So I'm gonna watch.
Will it be cold balls? Wait, hold on, let me qualify. Will it be cold plunge flaccid, or will it just be regular day flaccid?
I'll say regular day flaccid because I don't want to insult the fighters too much. It's not the cold plunge type of flaccid. That's like for some reserved for something else. But yeah, it's more of like a regular day type of thing.
All right, Juan Francisco Estrada taking on Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. You were going to go there. This one at least rates several pumps in your universe. I'm just wondering how many pumps.
Yes. Not as many as their second fight. Their second fight is, rematches are different. Once you see trilogies, it's like, all right, it's we've kind of seen it already. We just want to get, we want to get some sense of fucking finality out of this. So it's going to get several pumps. I'm not going to say it doesn't. Definitely not as much as the rematch, but it's enough. It's going to register on the Chubb meter for sure.
All right. And there you guys go. That's your weekend next week for boxing. If you want to see the complete schedule, go to boxingtonight.io. Scroll down. Follow us on social media at FightNet Radio. That is Andrew Labouche. That is Miguel Antonio Barragan. And my name is Lee Honish. And this is FightNet Radio.